Hip-hop is an art form that has remained practically synonymous with the black community. Whether that be taken in a good or bad way, it is undeniable that hip-hop is an integral part of African American history. So, it's no surprise that as the world around black people has changed, hip-hop has followed. In fact, influential hip-hop artist Mos Def perfectly explains this idea in his song Fear Not of Man.
Listen, people be asking me all the time, yo Mos, what's gonna happen with hip-hop? I tell them, you know what's gonna happen with hip-hop? Whatever's happening with us. If we smoked out, hip-hop is gonna be smoked out. If we doing alright, hip-hop is gonna be doing alright. People talk about hip-hop like it's some giant living in the hillside, coming down to visit townspeople. We are hip-hop. Me, you, everybody, we are hip-hop. So hip-hop is going where we going.
Hip-hop is the people, the community, and I want to explore how hip-hop has changed over the years with the community. To be more specific, I'm going to divide hip-hop into 5 main eras and explore how the music reflected what was happening in the world at the time, especially pertaining to the black community. I recognize that hip-hop's evolution has been much more complex than just 5 eras, but for simplicity's sake, it will be dumbed down to just those 5 eras. The first era of hip-hop begins with the old school years, the birth of hip-hop. Late in the summer of '73, in the Bronx, there was a young man who went by DJ Kool Herc, who was entertaining at his sister's back-to-school party. While doing so, he decided he would try something new, something different. He began to break and scratch the beat, and began singing over the beat. This new form of music later became known as hip-hop, and rather than singing over the beat, Herc was rapping over it. Hip-hop slowly began picking up popularity, when eventually it exploded onto the scene with the release of the Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight. In these early years of hip-hop, lyrics mainly consisted of hyping crowds up, simple rhymes, and quite a bit of repetition. However, there were some songs that focused more on social issues. Don't let the message fool you with its groovy beat. The lyrics actually tell the story of issues that many young black men faced around the time. Flash describes the rundown state of his house, a lady who lost everything to pimping, how his brother started stealing from their mother, and the broken education system, and how everything always resorts to crime and violence. He wants to escape it all, and it's driving him crazy. And eventually, the song ends in him being falsely arrested. America still was not a great place for many African Americans in the 70s and 80s, and it shows. The perpetual cycle of violence, poverty, and over-policing often kept black people down, and it shows in the message.
It went something like this. Cruising down the street in my 6'4".
We move on to the golden era of hip-hop. This era saw a spike in creativity within lyrics and storytelling. With big names like NWA, De La Soul, LL Cool J, Pac, and Biggie running the scene, it's no surprise that there also came a spike in popularity. And with its popularity, many artists used their platform to spread awareness. While the ones I listed before certainly used rap to touch on social issues, the artists I had in mind were more similar to the message. Straight Out of Compton touches on just how bad it was to live in the hood. However, NWA chooses to focus more on the gang-related side of the story. Ice Cube talks about how fast things escalate and turn violent. Ren shows how awful women were treated, degraded, and used. And Eazy-E makes it obvious how little the police do to actually help the victims of these cycles. Hoods and ghettos across America turn into extremely dangerous places to live, especially with the insurgency of gang activity. And Straight Out of Compton just exposes a glimpse into the lifestyle the residents had to live. In the commercial era, hip-hop really began to take off. Rappers were being played all over the world, and were definitely making it big. Showing off wealth through flashy chains or grills really gained traction, and it seemed like things were finally taking a turn for the better for the black community. However, not all things were good, and unfortunately, people realized. Released in '98 after Pac's untimely passing, Changes once again follows the same general theme of all the other songs. We see the same cycles of poverties and violence being repeated. Snatching purses for food, cops not helping communities, and gunfights between brothers. However, Pac calls for there to be a difference. The chorus repeats that's just the way it is, because the people of the hoods and ghettos had mostly given up and accepted their fates. But nearing the end, Pac says,
"We gotta make a change. It's time for us as a people to start making some changes. Let's change the way we eat, let's change the way we live, and let's change the way we treat each other. You see, the old way wasn't working, so it's on us to do what we gotta do to survive."
Pac calls for the victims of these cycles to not give in and instead fight back against the oppression and cycles that have kept them down for so long, making this not only a song detailing the pain and hurt that African American people have gone through, but also an anthem to create change and suffer no longer. From the early 2000s to the mid-2010s, hip-hop had already solidified itself as one of the most popular genres in music, and had begun to experiment a lot more with new subgenres such as crunk, Bay Area, and trap. With rap evolving, so did the movement surrounding the black community. One such movement, being BLM, started to gain traction. With cases of police violence still being prevalent after years of civil rights movements, many people just wanted to hear that everything was gonna be alright. Alright is a song all about reassurance. Throughout all the hard times the black community has faced, through perseverance and action, things have always turned out alright. Kendrick describes how we've been hurt, been down before, and even with there being little black pride and high rates of police brutality, it's gonna be alright, because this is a problem the community is facing together. As BLM has picked up in popularity, Alright became the unofficial anthem for the movement, and it's plain to see why. In a time of uncertainty, sometimes all you need is a little reassurance. We end off in the modern era of hip-hop. With the sound still evolving, we will see where the people take the sound. With the emergence of so many new artists and subgenres, it's very exciting to see where hip-hop will go next. One artist tops off this list with a very general yet important message with a deeper call to action.
Protest and growing national outcries continue over the death of George Floyd.
Last night, people protesting in Minneapolis escalated as demonstrators were lashed by tear gas and rubber bullets.
The main message here is that they want to see those officers involved.
They want to see those officers arrested.
Lil Baby is certainly not the first artist you would think to speak on important social issues. However, in the bigger picture, Lil Baby dives specifically into the issues of police brutality following the case of George Floyd. He recognizes that the problem isn't just a matter of black versus white, but rather a deeper issue embedded within the system. He wants for his family and loved ones to be able to live without fear of getting shot in the streets or falsely arrested, so he realizes that he can use his power and his platform to spread his message, so he does exactly that. The opening is also a clear reference to the murder of George Floyd, and Lil Baby also wishes to see Floyd's killers brought to justice. Lil Baby knows that it's an issue that will continue to persist for many years to come, but through unity, it's a problem that will hopefully end eventually. It's fascinating to see how each era, with its different yet similar issues, address these inequalities and push for their people to bring change. It's beautiful to see how hip-hop can bring people together.